you mentioned Grand Slam track. Obviously, that'll be your. I'm assuming that's your next big, target in the calendar. How much are you looking forward to that challenge? And you're obviously you've just done a 3K and a 5K, but doing that four times in a row is going to be a bit different.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknown with how the races are going to play out. I think, big picture, I think Grand Slam is a fantastic idea, and it's a fantastic model for changing the sport. The sport hasn't changed in the past like 50 years, so I think it's time to try something new. And I think Grand Slam is going to change things significantly. It's already changed how other meets operate. I think the Diamond League has responded, all in good ways. A little competition for these meets is a really good thing, and I think innovation pushes more innovation forward. And the meets are going to be really exciting because, specifically talking about my event group, 3K, 5K double over 2 or 3 days. No one does that,
Yeah.
so no one has experience doing it. I just ran a 3K, 5K double over 6 days, and that's very different than running it over, a Friday and then a Sunday race. So, will they be fast? Will they be slow? Will the challengers try to, solo a 1250? Who knows? But that's compelling, and that's what makes people watch. So, it's I think it's going to be really fun. Um, yeah, I don't know what to expect in my races. We might run fast, we might run slow. It might change every race, um, but it's it's an opportunity to compete, and it's an opportunity to do something great multiple times a year. Whereas in the old model, you kind of had World Championship or Olympics, and that was it. So if you missed time stuff or you were hurt or sick, it's like better luck next year. Whereas now, if these meets really catch on, you have multiple opportunities to excel, which I
Yeah.
think is good for everybody. And I like the idea of racing the best guys in the world many times, not only because that's what I want to do, but also because it'll make me better at the World Championship as well. If I have experience in unpaced tactical races against other medalists, so it'll be fun.
Yeah. Is there one distance in particular you're looking forward to more than the other? I guess the 3,000 isn't run all that often outdoors. It's not quite as common, is it?
Yeah, the 3K is not super common outdoors, so I'm happy it's a 3K 5K double and not a 5K 5K double. That seems a little more daunting, but yeah, I think I'm more excited for the 3K just because it's less frequently run. I run so many 5Ks that um, it'll be fun to try something different. And I think the plan as of right now is to alternate. So some of the meets it'll be a 3K first and then a 5K. Some of the meets it'll be a 5K first and then a 3K. I'm not really sure which one will feel harder. I think going into that second race, everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's going to be kind of tired. So, maybe someone will try to make it hard early and, win the mental battle early. Maybe everyone will just be content sitting and kicking. Uh, I think it's an unknown completely. And going into that first race, the first race weekend in Kingston, if everyone runs the first race hard and then everyone's destroyed for the second race, people are going to change their tactics by the time Miami comes around. So it'll be a cool kind of evolution, and we'll see what kind of little rivalries kind of build throughout the season. And uh, yeah, I'd say overall I'm more excited for those 3Ks, but it's going to be fun. It'll be different, and that's another thing that'll prepare me well for a World Championship double. Um, Getting hard efforts in short succession and getting the recovery dialed in, for that day in between. It's going to be good, a good setup, and good practice as well.
Yeah. Is that one of the main benefits of, I guess, taking on these, at least the same racers every single time, is that you're not just developing yourself physically, you are developing mental strategies and just that the sort of all round performance.
Yeah, totally. I think, big picture, it would be incredible if these races had all the best athletes every single time. It's not possible just because everyone has different schedules and logistics and things like that. But if you had a world championship field 4 times a year rather than 1 time a year, um, it A, would be really fun, and B, it would just give you more opportunities to become a better racer yourself. So we've got a really good field panned out for the 4 of us, and then 4 challengers that are to be named at each race. And I think they're going to be really competitive, and people are going to be hungry. The prize money is incredible. Um, it's the best I've ever heard of in the sport, and the incentive structure is right. I think I think people are going to be getting after it because there's a carrot in front of you, to do well and to chase. So um, you look at other really big time sports that are individual, like tennis or golf, even Formula One, and they have multiple times a year where you're racing the same people or competing against the same people and can have a continued storyline. And also, if you screw up at one of them, you get another chance a month later, 2 months later. In the current track model, the world championship is really important and really special, and representing your country is something that I cherish. It'd be cool if you had multiple opportunities for that throughout the year, and I think that's what Grand Slam is trying to do. Um, I think, yeah, way down the line, if this is really successful, they could be mini world championships, basically 4 times a year. Um, I think ultimately in the sport, I think the Olympics should always be number one. I don't uh, I don't think that should get diluted. Um, but in world championship years or off years, I think it'd be really cool if you had world championship caliber fields multiple times a year. Look at the Milrose Games; you had world championship caliber fields in 2 hours, a 2 hour block, and it was an incredible meet, super compelling, really good product, and I think people loved it. And if you can do that over and over, I think more people will watch.
Yeah, and I guess one of the intriguing aspects as well is of these sort of the doubles that people are having to do. There's some athletes are doing things that they're super comfortable with, and perhaps things that maybe not so comfortable with. Is going to be intriguing to see, as you say, how people sort of cope with that.
Yeah, I think the 3K, 5K category, no one feels super uncomfortable in either race. The 1500, 800 category is going to be super compelling because you have, more 1500 specialists, and then you have Marco Arop, more of an 800 specialist. And, I think most people would pick Marco to win the 800 every time. But they probably wouldn't necessarily pick him to win the 1500 every time. So his tactics are going to change throughout the season, and he has a massive competitive advantage in one event versus the other. So it's going to be really intriguing. I think you'll see the same thing with some of the hurdle races. Um, some people might just be better flat runners than hurdlers, and you're kind of navigating your strengths. Um, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. The unknown is what makes people watch. If the conclusion is already preset, no one's going to watch. If you had Noah Lyles competing against high school kids, no one's going to watch. But if you get Josh Kerr competing against Yared, competing against Cole, people are going to watch because people feel like it could go any way. And then you throw Marco into the mix, and it really complicates things. So uh, the unknown, I think, is a good thing in this case.